Hey, remember us? Back here, finally. We finally made it back. Ross, JJ, Blake here. Back with, I just kind of figured after one hell of a hiatus, one hell of a layoff. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. I guess this is, I just kind of figured after dark. We're recording on a Saturday night, so who knows what's going to happen? I don't.
I've got a little margarita that I'm sipping on, so let's loosen up those tongues a little bit. JJ, what's going on, man?
I'm well rested after my 3-week flu bout, so I'm prepared to get back into it.
Good. Yeah, and it's crazy how long it's been since we've actually all talked. Popular demand brings us back. We were looking to ride off into the sunset after 6 episodes. No, that's not true. We just had holidays and stuff like that. So finally back, though. Glad we can do it. Like Ross said, recording on a Saturday night. A little bit of a different taste here. We'll see kind of how this goes. But not only is that different, we are actually going to not just dive into a 90s thing, a 90s, I guess, top. We're actually going to go ahead, and I just kind of figured is going to go to the movies. So, I mean, are you guys on board with that? Is that fine with you?
Yeah, that's
Are
great.
you asking our listeners or are you asking us?
I'm actually asking you guys because I wanted to make it act like we were just spontaneous and.
Oh yes, then of course, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's try. Rewind and just.
I'm not very good at improv.
Ross, what?
Yes, and.
God, that was a disaster. Okay, well, we're just gonna review Mighty Ducks.
Screw it. Here's what we're effing doing tonight.
Just rent the damn movie. We'll talk to you next week. So no, that was a huge embarrassing failure. But yeah, we decided to go ahead and review The Mighty Ducks, a classic Disney movie but way back in the day, back in '92. Can't believe it's been that long. But before we actually dive into the movie and kind of walk through it and review it a little bit here and pick it apart, JJ, first, when was the last time you watched this movie, or can you even remember before rewatching it before this?
Well, the first one, the original Mighty Ducks.
That's what we're talking here.
Yeah, I honestly cannot remember the last time I watched it. I think I've seen D2 and D3 probably within the last 10, 15 years maybe, but the original Mighty Ducks, it's probably been since I was a early teenager or grade school, like maybe 10, 11. Like it's an old view. I have not seen it in a long time.
And I don't think, like you talk about, the rest of the trilogy, spoiler alert, there are more movies after this, but the trilogy, the latter ones seem to get way more airplay, way more syndication play, whereas this one
deservedly so.
No, I don't know. We'll see. But it just never sees the light of day on TV. So yeah, Ross, how about you? When was the last time you watched the movie?
I'd say really sit down and watched it. Probably a solid 20 years. But yeah, kind of like you guys were saying, for whatever reason, D2, the Mighty Ducks, was always the standout. Like, that's the one that always sticks in people's minds. So I feel like I've seen that one probably at least twice as much as I've seen the original.
Absolutely. Well, and this got off, and I'm right there with you. I really can't remember the last time I watched the original Mighty Ducks. I mean, it has been forever. The other ones, yes, the middle one is a real strong one. Maybe we'll even cover it. I don't know, probably. But it's a matter of, it's just never available. It's just never where you're scrolling through channels and Mighty Ducks is on. That said, earlier this week, I asked if both of you guys were down and were okay with watching this movie and reviewing it. You both were fine. I said, it's on Netflix. We can just check it out, and then we'll review it. Well, much to my dismay, Netflix just did not cooperate, and they had since pulled Mighty Ducks from their queue. So it threw a little bit of a wrench in the viewing plan. But instead of changing movies, we're committed to our craft, and we decided to go ahead and watch another version. We were able to find it online.
Oh, yes.
And
much different version.
JJ, which version? You said you were going to maybe look for maybe a legit actual movie version of whatever. Did you find one, or which version did you watch?
Yeah, I was not going to be somebody who could stand watching that horrendous YouTube video that you sent me where you could only see half the screen and it was sped up. I watched 30 seconds and I said, hell no, I need to find the actual version. So
Where'd you find it?
Well, not get into details on that one, but it was a site on the internet, and I found it, and the reason that I was delayed today was because there was so much of a lag. It kept having to buffer, but at least it was good quality, high quality. It was the best way to view it.
Well, Ross and I are just degenerates, and we didn't. I don't think we watched you could see the whole screen, but yes, it was sped up. What, like 25%, Ross? It made it a short.
You had the whole screen. I didn't. I had like 80% of it.
Yeah,
maybe,
it was good.
Maybe it was
the
80,
borders were cut off.
That's fine. Who needs the borders? But JJ, how long was your viewing though? I bet it was like an hour 45.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah, mine and Ross, hour 25.
Mine was the actual runtime of the movie.
Yeah, we shaved a little bit of time off there. The voices were pitched a little bit higher on our end.
Yeah, when they played "We Are the Champions" at the end, that's just when it really hit home that this is not the normal speed.
I do not recall Freddie Mercury hitting those notes. So yeah, and he could hit some good ones. But anyway, cool. Well, good for you, JJ, finding the original. I am committed.
Well, he still pirated it. Don't pat him on the back too much.
I guess so.
I take my movie going seriously.
Sure. I'm going to try to find actual correct run times here in the future, but brother, my back was against the wall here, so I had to make a decision, and no regrets. But cool. So it was still a new view for all of us. I mean, we all know what went on from seeing it back as kids, but hadn't seen it in a while. So I can't go past this though. And if you've already looked, then just tap out, disqualify yourself. Do you know the Rotten Tomatoes rating on this movie, either of you? Because if you don't, I would like to hear your guess. You saw it, JJ?
I looked it up.
God, you just ruined everything.
I'll take a stab at it.
Yeah, please do.
Rotten Tomatoes, the original Mighty Ducks, I would say 68%.
Way lower.
You were right on.
Lower.
You were right on with the viewer, the audience score. Was it
really?
The audience score a strong 65.
Wow.
But JJ,
okay.
Do you want to hand over the official Rotten Tomatoes rating though to him?
Yes, it was 18%.
18%. 18. And that's
Emilio Estevez deserves better. Come on.
That's what we're looking for here on I Just Kind of Figured. We want to watch just the worst of the worst.
Next is Trolls 2.
Yeah. Anything in the 90s. Can we just... Fern Gully was on Netflix, though, so you never know.
Oh, there you go.
You never know. So cool. So at least, Ross, thank you for, humoring me and giving it a shot and being just way off. And
well, I'm just a viewer, so technically I kind of agreed with all the other viewers, I suppose.
Sure. I guess you were right there. So anyway, the movie, it kicks right in, and the drama is right there. The drama's right there. So the movie fades in. It rolls the opening credits, the cast and all that, but it fades in from black to a young Gordon Bombay talking with his hockey coach, and his coach is just telling him just how important this shot that he's going to take is for him and his team. It's a penalty shot. And also, did you guys note the goalie? I guess it was a throwback, probably in the 70s or whatever, but the goalie with the super throwback mask, like the skeleton-looking throwback mask.
No, and Blake, you're sugarcoating it quite massively when you say his coach was instructing him about the importance of the shot.
He's putting a lot of pressure on a 9-year-old.
This was one of the quotes, and I just got back, I just got back from coaching some 6th graders. So I have a little experience with coaching kids around this age. And the coach in the movie says, and I quote, "If you miss this shot, you're not just letting me down, you're letting your whole team down too."
Have you ever used that, JJ? Have you used that with your kids? No, not. So yeah, he's really laying it on this kid.
But he does have a point.
It's for the state championship. So,
But that is not
Right.
that is not how you instill confidence
No,
in a young
no,
in a
absolutely
young
not.
athlete.
They're trying to scare kids. Like any kid in the theater who saw that immediately was scared of all sporting activities from then on.
well, I mean, they're just really they're laying in the villain of the movie too. I mean, right
Oh, yeah.
off the bat,
They
right
got to
off the
hammer
bat.
it home.
So anyway, that's kind of how. I mean, so he gets this. I don't even know what you call it. This pep talk, which isn't a pep talk. But as he goes, he trots out to center ice or skates out to center ice. Phil Collins-esque drums are fading in. I mean, the drama is there, and we're not even 2 minutes into the movie. Gordon, grabs the puck. Perfect move, perfect triple deke, and right off the post. Right
Quarter
off
of
the
an inch.
right off the post, drops to his knee, and then the other team is celebrating though.
And
So-
they go to OT. Yeah, why are
no,
you celebrating?
No, see, I think that was for that's what doesn't make sense. Is if it was a shootout, the other team still has to make a goal to win. But I
Well,
guess
didn't he say he had a penalty shot though, and if he made it,
Maybe.
they win. If
Maybe.
they don't, they go to. He said they lost in overtime.
maybe that's it. Maybe all these years I've missed it every time, and then so yeah, I mean Bombay, but the other team is just they've got all the momentum. Gordon just
Right.
cranks it off.
And the
posts.
coach doesn't give a shit. He's a horrible human being.
How about the hand directly into the head right into the hand? Like he can't even look Gordon in the eye.
Yeah, Gordon collapses to the ground, and instead of going out there and picking him up and saying, "It's okay, son,"
Can't even look at him.
Yeah, he's like, "You ruined it. It's all
I'd
your
also
fault."
like to point out, I feel it should be pointed out that arena is way too dark for a kid's sporting event. During that penalty shot, just the lighting, someone needs to pay the utility bill because
it's like
pitch
one-
black on the other end of the ice. That's terrible.
The vignette is unreal. Like it is unreal. So yeah, it's like they have a single light. Just
He
like
missed the
at
shot because he had the
center
damn spotlight in his eyes. Jesus.
ice. So anyway, I mean, it's already like getting way too real. Young Bombay chokes. We can call it a choke. He didn't execute. Chokes for his squad. But then, so we just know kind of what's going on here. Immediate jump cut to present day Gordon Bombay, a young Emilio Estevez, in the courtroom as a lawyer, and he wins and weasels his way to yet another win, and he confirms his record as a lawyer is 30-0. JJ, you're an attorney. You're in the law business. Do you keep a record of any kind?
No, and then what was even worse was he goes, I don't know if either of you caught this, but I wrote this down because it was so absurd. After he goes, yeah, perfect 30-0, multiple people had to remind him, no, you lost such and such case. And he goes, oh, that one doesn't count. I scored with the court reporter. I don't even know what that means. What does that even mean?
Whoa, Gordon.
First off, I don't know how that affected the law.
That's for the adults in the theater.
Yeah, I don't know how that caused him to lose, number one.
Maybe she threw him off his game. Like he couldn't concentrate. That's why he lost. But he sealed the deal with her. So
Yeah. Yeah, so that was just a little on the strange side.
yeah. So, but anyway, I mean, he's a hotshot lawyer, a hotshot attorney.
His license plate says just win.
I like. I wonder if there is somebody driving him around Minnesota right now with that same plate.
No,
If I
part-
lived in Minnesota, I would have that plate.
No, hold on. The best part after the victory, when he gets into his car, I'll let you tell everybody what happens. But when he gets in his car, starts driving, and then he just starts chugging a beer while he's driving.
He's a winner.
So yeah, plays by his own rules. Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. So like after he gets called into his boss's office, his boss is saying like you can't treat law as a game, and Gordon just blows him off, whatever. And then yeah, JJ, you said he hops into his sports car. It is inclement weather to say the least. I mean, it is snowing. The roads don't even appear to have been plowed. And Gordon just pulls out he's just slamming bottles of beer behind the wheel. Not a good look. Not a good look for a Disney movie. I'm sure they wouldn't be doing that. I'm sure that wouldn't be something that they got away with today. But yeah,
there was a whole lot of stuff in that movie that I wrote down that I'm not sure if you guys caught. but I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, and I will say, as I was doing some extra light research on this, that I guess that Mighty Ducks was like written originally to be way darker. Like it was going to be super dark. But then Disney picked it up, I guess, and they're like, it needs to be funnier. So,
well, I don't know if
who
either
would
of you guys
conceive
caught
Mighty
this.
Ducks and intend to make it dark? Like it's a kids movie.
well,
What
no,
the hell?
I even pulled it up. Well, yeah, it's a kids movie now because they went the route of Disney taking it and they're like, it needs to be funnier. But let me read this from you, and this is from IMDb. So, I mean, it is the law. But the original premise of Mighty Ducks was much darker with very little comedy about an ex-NHL player turned alcoholic who seeks revenge on his old coach by coaching the opposite team. The main idea when Disney bought the rights
That sounds
to the
like a
movie,
way better movie.
but some elements, it says, but when Disney bought the movie, some elements were changed. So yeah, I'd say they changed. But yeah, can you imagine that movie?
I wish Disney didn't buy the movie because that sounds like an amazing movie.
We can kind of revisit that too down the line, after it's all said and done. But very interesting. But Disney, I guess that the writers were very firm on keeping the DUI scene in there, because yeah, when the cop pulls him over, Gordon, very nonchalant. With the this is not good. Like that's all he can. He's like, this is not good.
No. At one point, he slurred his speech. He was like, what
whittle
did he
noisy.
say?
He said, "Can you turn down the stereo?" And he said, "I guess it was a whittle noisy."
Yeah,
So
yeah. And the cop was like, a whittle.
yeah. So
And how did this not win an Academy Award again?
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, a Disney movie with a DUI within the first 15 minutes. How about it? I mean, I don't think you're gonna see, Beauty and the Beast with, I don't even know, the electric chair or any, just something super
Domestic
dark.
violence or something? I don't know.
I don't know. That Gaston, he had
Not
some
a
red
joke,
flags.
but,
So, so anyway, we get Gordon. He gets pulled over. Obviously, it goes on. We don't get to see any of the scenes of him. What happens after he's pulled over. But
He basically went to court the next day. That's not how it works.
yeah, he's defending himself. So the movie moves on to his desk. I mean, Gordon was trying. He's in court. It goes though to his desk with his boss, Mr. Ducksworth, coming back in, advising him that he's going to demand Gordon to take a leave of absence from the firm and do 500 hours of community service. It's all coming together. This is where he becomes the hockey coach. That 500 hours of community service is key. But yeah, so Gordon, he even said, like, I already found a loophole, and his boss is like, no, I'm not going to let you. So 500 hours community service, a leave of absence. So really, kind of nice of his boss to let him keep his job, I guess.
And let me just say, at this point in the movie, at this point where we'll say if it stops here, I was beyond it was beyond disbelief. I was like, this is the movie that I loved as a kid. It was Emilio Estevez, his acting up to that point in the movie was god awful. Like, I did not understand how this was one of the top leading people.
Emilio!
I don't understand how this was one of the leading actors in Hollywood. Like, his acting, I just saw the movie The Room, the quote-unquote best, worst movie ever, and the disaster artist about it.
Right.
Emilio Estevez's acting in the first 20 minutes of this movie reminded me of something out of The Room. It was that bad.
So it's not better than his acting in, say, The Breakfast Club.
That
Well, he
was
kind of
probably
already
the
had
peak of
his
career.
heyday, so he was just running his victory lap at this point. He didn't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like late 80s, yeah, he had all of his big hits. It's like, yeah, I'll do a kids movie and they'll pay me $10 million to do it. Why not?
I'll be the hot shot. And we probably should have covered early on too. JJ is like we said he's an attorney, and he does practice though. He takes classes. He's very passionate and serious about his film. So that's going to be the nice twist here, where he's going to be very. How can I even say this, JJ? Like
Reputable?
Like he's just going to be tough. Like any.
Well,
I don't know.
Listen. I feel like I'm generally an easy critic. Like, I like Rob. Like, I'll watch Rob Schneider movies and get a kick out of it. Like,
you are. You've got a good sense of humor.
But the first 20 minutes of this movie was cringeworthy, in my opinion. Like,
I don't know. Like, it had me. I was gripped.
And they replayed that beginning scene where the coach yells at Gordon. They replayed that at least 4 times during the movie.
Let's go, son.
I was going to bring
that up.
Yeah.
The exact scene. There was no change to it. It was the exact scene.
No. I will say, I feel like, and I'll have to go back and revisit it, but I feel like I noticed it when I was a kid that, like, in, like, the first part of the movie, he says, if you miss this shot, you're not just letting me down, but you're letting your whole team down, too. I have a distinct memory, and I could be wrong, and I could have just convinced myself, but I feel like one of the clips throughout the movie, it flips. Like, so maybe somebody used, like, the wrong clip, but it's like, because he says instead of letting your team down, you're letting me down too. In one clip, he says, you're not just letting me down, you're letting your whole team. Like, I don't know. I'll have to rewatch it now, but I feel like at one point, so what can we even take as fact? What can we even take? If that happens, what is even real in Mighty Ducks? So, anyway, let's keep moving on. So,
well, and can I just...
Go. Yeah, please.
One last thought would just be, like, when you're a kid and you see a movie and you only remember, like, the fun kid parts of a movie.
Just the nut shots.
And then you go back years later and you're like, wait a minute. Huh? Like, I don't remember that at all. That was me 2 hours ago watching this movie, because imagine being a kid in the theater and you think you're going in for a fun hockey movie, and the first 20 minutes, it's just an episode of Law and Order. I had no idea. The movie started that way until tonight.
It's a pretty good start. It's a good start. So, as we move on.
Well, it's like, I will say, too, like, this is not a movie that holds up, in my opinion. Like, I saw...
Not anymore.
Like, you rewatch The Sandlot, that is a damn good movie still to this day. And, like Hook. Hook isn't the greatest movie, but it's still a pretty darn good movie. But
it holds up, yeah.
But rewatching this, I was like, this is not the movie I remember.
I was kind of rooting for the Hawks.
I think we all kind of were. But you're right. I mean, and I hope one day that we can review Hook, because that thing got panned by critics, but I will always love that movie. But getting back to Mighty Ducks, we go from Bombay realizing that he's got to do his community service, and then all of a sudden he's riding in the back of a limo with just his personal driver, probably assigned to him or given to him by his firm. So I mean, really, they're taking care of him even while he's not working.
Which, by the way, one of my favorite quotes in this during that sequence was when he finds out he gets the community service. He goes, "I hate kids. They're barely human." Yeah, and I'm right there with you, Gordon. No, but anyway, so he's talking to his driver, and his driver's chatting him up. He's talking nonstop. It's a one-way conversation, and this is where we see the kids though for the first time. Like we go from inside the car to a shot on the ice, and or no, it's not. Sorry, it's not on the ice. It's not on the ice. I jumped because it goes from the kids feeding a dog chili and following this dog around so they can grab poop and throw it in a purse that they found in a dumpster. This is a prank that I don't even know.
It takes too much effort, first of all.
Well, then after that, Emilio Estevez's character in the limo, he's like, drive out on the ice.
Right, we aren't there. I think I jumped it a little bit. Like, I don't think we're quite on the ice yet. But yeah, so we'll get there. But yeah, you said it, Ross. There are way too many variables in that where you need to find a stray dog, you need to find some chili, you need to find a purse. Anyway, they get it. They get everything. Everything comes full circle. We can just see how mischievous these kids are, and it's just 3 of them. One of them, the staple of the Mighty Ducks trilogy, Charlie Conway's even involved in it. But the guy stops, grabs the purse, realizes there's dog shit in there, chases the kid at a sped up rate. So JJ, you can only imagine how fast it was on the version Ross and I watched.
Unbelievably fast.
But again, this is a 90s movie. So, nutshot, 20 minutes into the movie, the guy, gets, slips on the board and the kids get away. So that's where
And
where
we
it
never
goes.
see that guy again.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that.
The rest of the movie, he was just he was just in there for 5 seconds, served
while
no
I-
purpose other than
While I do
other
this,
than
while
the
I-
nut shot.
Well, I'm sure he got paid well. While I kind of take us through the movie, JJ, could you even take a quick look behind? This is behind the scenes. See if that guy's even on their IMDb. See if he even had a name for the movie. So as JJ looks at that,
Well, while he's doing that, I was just gonna say, if you're pulling a prank, don't run out into the street when you're still within eyesight of the person and immediately out yourself as the ones who pulled the prank.
that's like even just the classic. Like even if you just call somebody, like at the very slight call and just the dial and the hang up or the ding dong, it's just like you call them right back and be like, you know what? I just called you.
Yeah, I just
No problem there. Or you see that the
Oh
ding
my
dong
god!
ditch.
Oh my god! This is gonna give me nightmares. Oh my god! Looking up Mighty Ducks on IMDb, and I'm seeing all the kid actors as adults.
Yeah.
And
that's going to be at the end. That's going to be at the end. 'Cause
They
we're gonna
look
see where they all
frightening.
went.
Goldberg looks frightening.
Yeah, Goldberg's had some tough years.
Averman looks frightening. Just this. Oh, what is? These kids did not age well.
I should have given this task to Ross. He could have handled it.
Wait. What the hell? Dude, Jussie Smollett, the dude from Empire, plays Terry.
Terry. Who
Oh.
is Terry?
Terry
he's-
Hall.
He's one of the brothers who doesn't make it beyond the first movie. But
Oh,
Jesse and
Jesse's
Terry.
brother. Gotcha.
Yeah, but that's fun. Yeah, I mean,
he's
now
like
that
a
you
big
say
star
that,
now. He's like an
Yeah.
actual big star.
I was gonna ask later, and we'll dive into it. But if anybody had done anything, so he may be one of the bigger stars that had survived it. So I didn't even know that. That's who that was. JJ's got a soft spot for Empire. He was on the season finale of season 1. So go ahead and check that out as an extra. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move on. And this is the part that JJ was talking about. The kids are now on the ice, frozen pond hockey practice. The District 5 team. We're finally introduced to the entire team. Goldberg complaining just about the puck almost hitting on the kid. It just shows you the kind of terrible team that this is really. I mean, the goalie complaining about the puck hitting them. The kids can't skate. They're, falling all over the place. And this is where Gordon pulls up, and JJ had mentioned it before. He says, pull out onto the ice to his driver. He looks at him, and he just gives him a very confident nod, like, yep, do it. So he pulls
I used
out
to
onto
drive
the
for
ice.
Grand Funk Railroad, boy. You don't know who you're talking to.
he used to drive for him, and he knows. He's
It's
seen
the
a lot of
most-
shit.
It is the most absurd thing ever because he's so cocky and confident about. He's like, "Oh yeah, I got this."
Ross and I love to come up with scenarios. Can you imagine if he's just like, just do it? And like the first 5 feet he's onto the ice, it just cracks, and just the limo looks like the Titanic bobbing in the middle of
It breaks in half.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, again, there are a lot of different ways this movie could have been done. But so he drives out onto the ice. The team approaches him because, of course, like if you're a bunch of kids just having your hockey practice and a limo drives up, you're going to be like, what the hell's going on? Or if you were me, you probably would have been like, you know what, I have got to actually get going. So I'm going to, but yeah, I mean, the kids go right up to the limo and they pull up, and Gordon's just saying, I'm here for business. He reaches into his jacket pocket. Kids think he's pulling a gun. So
This is inner city Minnesota, wherever
Yeah.
city, Minneapolis. I don't know.
fortunately, it is just the team roster. And this scene is where I really noticed too. I have to credit Bombay here. Great hair, especially even in that terrible Minnesota weather. Great hair. That's not even a joke, JJ. That's just real recognizing real right there.
Well, his hair was certainly better than his acting up to that point.
I mean, the hair is worth like 20% alone on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
The hair saved the rating. The hair saved the rating for sure. So anyway, after we get past that, he's just like, get out on the ice. Show me what you guys can do. And what do you know? They're fucking miserable. They're just a terrible team. And then even a current team member, I think her name's Connie, skates up to him, starts talking. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's not trying to talk to her, but he's just saying, "Are we any good?" And they're like, "Well, we're 0-9 currently, but they have had some close ones. They only lost 1 by 5." So it's really becoming a reality of how awful of a situation this is. But really, can he really complain? Like, it's community service. Like, you got to do it, and you're not even really that interested anyway.
It's overlooked the fact that this team also witnessed their former coach have a heart attack. That would be traumatizing, and it's just brushed aside. Like, let's not forget the reason Gordon Bombay is coaching this team is because a man maybe died in front of a bunch of 10-year-olds on the ice. So
I forgot about that, too, where their old coach had a heart attack. He asked what happened, and a kid's just like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he got mad cow disease. We witnessed the start to finish. Jesus.
He had a heart attack. Bombay's just worried about that. Yeah. So, I mean, these kids are already probably traumatized.
They're pretty tough kids.
Yeah. So, anyway.
But the scene where they show him, he's like, this is the team. And then they're just like all collapsing on the ground. They can barely skate. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Interesting fact, though, not that far off, because I was reading again that when this movie was being cast, like, all the kids were like, and I guess it was like a problem for like all the movies for the trilogy, but all the kids were like, yeah, I can skate. That's like me putting on my resume, like, extra proficient with Microsoft Excel. It's like, yeah, I can skate. And then, like, none of these kids could really skate, so I guess they had to have a boot camp for all the kids. But yeah, it's just nothing like, I mean, everybody's been lying on their resume forever. But yeah, the kids are just miserable. And, like, the fact that they only lost 1 game by 9, all the pressure's on Goldberg. All the pressure is on Goldberg, honestly, because his team's not going to stop anybody. He has to stop every shot. Their only chance is pretty much a 0-0 tie.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And I was actually on a roller hockey team back in the day, and we were terrible. And we were kind of like, we weren't quite that bad, but one of my buddies, we had one offensive player who was pretty good, and then I played goalie, and I don't even know if we won a game. We tied 1 game, and that's just because I think he scored like 2 goals, and I only gave up 2. So how do you like me now? But, you know, I lived the Mighty Ducks life, just on the asphalt. So anyway,
you were a regular Gordon Bombay.
No, I was a regular Goldberg. A regular. If I had Bombay hair, I'd be much happier and probably much better set up in life. Anyway, so Bombay tells him to keep practicing. He says he has to make a call. He hops into his limo, and the kids just demand that they get a ride. And this kind of goes on. They're driving all over the pond until Charlie's mom shows up, and needless to say, she is heated that they are driving this limo on the ice and tells everybody to get out. And that's the first time that Charlie's mom is seen, and she's talking to Gordon there, and she's not happy with him. Not a good way to start your community service.
Now, she's heated, but to Gordon Bombay, she's also a babe. So cue the sexual tension.
Bombay is just completely forgetting about that court reporter at this point.
I don't.
Did you guys win the game? Nobody scored
understand.
with Charlie's mom.
Like, from my memory of this movie, I thought that Gordon and Charlie's mom like had some relationship from years ago, like a relationship as kids or whatever. But then after rewatching it, I realized no. The first time they met was on the ice, and somehow within 2 appearances of meeting each other, they're like dating. Like it was the most confusing.
You ever heard of love at first sight? Love at first sight.
Yeah. Yeah. That relationship was there's so much ridiculous shit in this movie. It's
great. It remains a classic because of it for other reasons.
Explain to me that relationship. How did that develop? How did that work?
They hit it off. You could just see it right there in the scene.
They took a cue from Kindergarten Cop, where some people just click. Some people just click.
But did they say when the limo was on the ice? And Charlie's mom is like, "What the hell are you doing? I hate you."
Wiseman
rips Charlie out of the.
Wise men
Then she
say only
rips
fools
Charlie out
rush
of the
in.
limo.
Only
Say-
fools rush in, and Bombay is a fool here. So, so we keep going. We'll see. Hey, your guess is as good as mine where this could go. You know, could it be a relationship? I don't know. We know. But anyway, the movie moves on after Charlie's mom just lays into Gordon for endangering all these kids on his first day with community service. Can you imagine, again, scenario, if this movie goes, 12 kids drown thanks to this hotshot lawyer driving his limo on the ice, and then movie over, he's thrown in jail. So,
Yeah,
a lot of different
Bombay
ways.
at like the newspaper headlines, which are a recurring theme in the movie. It's just Bombay at it again, kills kids or something.
Bombay to the slammer. So anyway, finally, we get some in-game hockey action. So the movie moves on. We see District 5 and Gordon in their first game, and Gordon walks in. The kids are there well before their coach, so it shows how committed he is. He's walking in, though, and he's seeing the team he plays. Apparently, he has not checked the schedule, but he's saying the first game, and it's got to be against the Hawks. His former team. Wow, what a coincidence. Is this Hollywood right here? I mean, so...
Well,
anyway.
and it's just, I always like in movies to pick out the lines that are strictly put in there for the audience, like to get them up to speed. It's obvious that's his former coach, and it's obvious that the second place banner is because of him, but whoops, the audience is too stupid to get that, so, oh, nuts, first game against the Hawks, I can't believe. Like, come on, give the audience some credit. We're smarter than that.
You know what my favorite part of that whole sequence was?
None of it.
When when the Mighty Ducks started recreating the Hawks warm-ups.
You're jumping...
That must have been on part of the screen that wasn't shown, because I don't think I saw that.
You're jumping, so you love doing it. But yeah, I mean, but anyway, before that even happens, JJ, and Ross, you touched it too, Gordon realizes he's playing his former team. Then he scans, and like a kick to the gut, he sees that banner from when he ruined this dynasty, and they came in second place. And really, I don't know why are, like... The first place banners are Hawks colors. The second place banners are obviously other colors, but is the league just so focused on the Hawks that, well, the Hawks didn't win, so we'll use the team that beat them colors, but we're just going to still say second place for the Hawks. Like
Well, it was interesting to me because it appeared that every team kind of had their own ice rink here, because later in the movie, this isn't a big detail, but when they're playing the Cardinals, they're playing in a rink that has Cardinals, the team name, plastered all around the boards. So they make it seem like each team has their own home ice here, which I want to play Minnesota hockey.
This is it is Minnesota. Let's be, so it could be true. But anyway, as Gordon is just in a haze here, still not addressing his team, still just kind of just soaking it all in and realizing how shitty his life is at that moment. His old coach, Coach Jack Riley, comes strolling up, and little movie magic, or whatever you want to call it, maybe it is just a vegan diet, I don't know, little juice cleanse. He looks the exact same. He has not aged a day since the 70s when he was coaching Gordon.
Looks damn good.
Yeah, so Jack has done well. And
he looks just as evil as he did, though.
He's a great villain. He is a great villain.
Coach Riley, evil as he may be, at least he never got behind the wheel of a car while drinking a beer. I think we can at least give him that. Or maybe that was in the deleted scenes. I don't know.
Oh, that's great.
That's spot on. We only see what we see on the screen. You're right, because who knows what he... But yeah, he is not slamming beers and...
he did something else that was much worse, but we'll wait till you get there.
I mean, it's just that we're supposed to root for Gordon Bombay. Well, he's the one, pretty much a felon at this point in the movie, but we'll glide past that, I suppose.
Community service is fine. So Lane Riley played Coach Jack Riley, and I'm trying to think of what I even saw him in other than Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, he's been in other stuff.
Like I'm seeing.
He was in My Cousin Vinny.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
He pops into stuff. He's one of those guys where you're like, that's the coach from that's the Hawks coach. He was in Dallas, so good for him. That was that was pre.
Is he dead now? Is he like super dead or what?
That was pre Mighty Ducks. I'm seeing what his IMDb looks like because he doesn't look extra.
alive.
He doesn't look extra active right now since, let's say, 2012. Yeah, he died in '05. So shout out
What's
to
his name?
Lane Smith. Lane Smith. So he was a good actor, man. He sure knew how to make you hate him. So anyway, Coach Riley though, and I have to share this story because I was working an internship, and one of my buddies and I were talking about the Hawks mighty. He was in the Clueless TV series, by the way, not the movie though. But so we're talking about this movie at this internship I'm working, and we're talking about the Hawks and how nice his jacket is. He's got some good gear. And we're like, man, that would be a nice, because I think they recreate T-shirts now for Mighty Ducks and even the Hawks and so. Like it's a lazy regular logo, but it's cool and the jacket is really nice. And we searched YouTube or not YouTube, Yahoo or Google whatever, and said Coach Riley Mighty Ducks jacket, and there was a YouTube or God, why do I keep saying that? There was a Yahoo question. Where can I find Where can I find the Hawks jacket from Mighty Ducks? Was the Yahoo question, and it had one answer, or at least the best answer that it came up with was probably nowhere, and that was so there. I mean, that guy was just he was a straight shooter on that one, a straight shooter, and I can't fault him for that. So. Anyway, so you can't find that jacket anywhere. But anyway, we get into the game, and JJ, kind of tell us about that a little bit. As we ease into the game, you kind of touched on it earlier. It does take a shot to the stands, and we see some random kid that we haven't seen before sitting in the stands with a bandana, and I'm sure that'll play into the movie later. He's a big kid. Can't imagine they would show him just for no reason, so we'll have to keep our eyes peeled. But again, JJ, you said the Hawks are doing their win-win-win chant, and Bombay tries to copy that on the spot. So kind of tell us about that.
Yeah, he copied the Hawks. The Hawks, like a formidable, scary opponent, started chanting "Win, win, win, win," and then Gordon, for some odd reason, looks over and then looks back at his guys and starts going, win, win, win. And they're all like, what the hell is going on? And like they kind of half-assed.
He's just like, get the hell on the ice.
Yeah.
He's
yeah,
like,
and then they get on the ice and then they start recreating all of the Hawks warm-up drills, including one where all the players hack their goalies' shin guards. And then everybody's like, hey, let's do it to Goldberg.
Who doesn't have actual pads.
Yeah, his pads are terrible. And they start whacking him, and he falls on the ground, and they're beating him when he's on the ground. And
the team morale is just really, really good. Gordon walked into a good – it's like the Cleveland Browns, I imagine. So anyway, one other thing that happened before the beatdown commences, and I'm sure you guys noticed this, but – a line like this would not fly in a Disney movie again, let alone it would probably get some backlash on like Twitter, social media. The kid skates up to the puck drop, and the Ducks have their center and their two wingers, and it's the Hall brothers and Charlie, I believe. And the Hawk player says,
Hold on. Before you say it.
Okay.
For context, the two Hall brothers are black. And the other guy is white.
And the Hawk player says,
I'm not sure if the Hawk player said it. I caught it later in the movie.
When they embrace it. They embrace it.
Yeah, when Gordon calls them that.
Yeah. So the Hawk player just says, like, what is this, the Oreo line? And it's just like, ugh.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And as JJ said, apparently they embrace it because later in the movie, Gordon is calling for the Oreo line. So it's just like, yikes. Again, man, it's crazy. It's crazy how much stuff what you could get, even in a Disney movie back then. So, this movie, though, has Bad News Bears written all over it. You have the montage. District 5 is strictly garbage. No real jerseys, no good equipment. The Hawks just roll through them. Final score 17-0, and Coach
Oh,
Riley.
is that what it was?
Coach Riley is not pleased because he said they had a bad third period. They should beat them by maybe even said twice as much, or maybe he said that partway through the game. They should, but he still said that they didn't play well and they won 17-0.
I will say that because we had the pirated version on YouTube and the screen was like zoomed in, anytime they showed the scoreboard, which happens a lot in the movie, you couldn't see the goal score tally, so I never knew what the score was. So just throw that out there right now.
Yeah, at least it wasn't 20 minutes shorter than the actual movie. So and after the Gordon even midway through it, or at the end of the game, lays into his team about how terrible they are. Again, come on, man, this is community service. Like you're there, you're not happy, whatever, but you can see the fires are starting to burn. He's wanting to win. But lays into the kids, and then he looks up to the stands, and he sees some who we don't even know who it is. He sees somebody that he then chases out, and he can't track him down. Now, we know who it is from seeing the movie, but again, just kind of strange where he just looks up, or he does say Hans. He's like, Hans? And he chases him down, and he can't get to him. So clearly word is traveling around the hockey community that Gordon is getting back into the hockey game. But he doesn't track down Hans. So that's somebody he's gonna have to get in touch with sometime down the line in the movie. As we progress off the ice, the movie goes on. District 5 kids find a bunch of thrown out Playboys, but Hawks players. And
they stuff them with dog poop and leave them on the sidewalk.
This was another absurd sequence because there were 3 Hawks players and there was the whole Mighty Ducks team, and the 3 Hawks players on rollerblades when the Mighty Ducks were not wearing rollerblades are all of a sudden these big bad terrorizers that are gonna get the Ducks. And
well,
they
they did drop lines like they were. You knew they meant business. They called them. Actually, I can't remember if it's the Hawks or the Ducks. The term "wuss breath" was thrown out there, so I mean it was heated.
Real talk. Yeah.
Yeah, but at any point, all you got to do is trip all 3 of those guys. You've got a mob. Like you've got 8-9 people.
Yeah,
and you're telling me 3 pansies on rollerblades are gonna do something to you?
They were probably pretty nice rollerblades. But
that's a disadvantage. The rollerblades are not an advantage.
As it goes on, though, the Ducks are bailed out by who do you know? The random guy from the stands picks them up off of the ground and then throws them into some trash bags. Throws the Hawks guys into the trash bags.
That's like the classic. That's like the classic kids movie move. Like the throwing
bag?
someone into trash bags.
Yeah. So I mean, the movie's just moving right along here. Ross, did you ever see yourself losing interest as the movie was just ripping right through the plot line?
Well, I should admit that about at this point in the movie, I was making dinner and I was in my kitchen and I spilled about 200 toothpicks on my floor. So I missed a good 10 minutes in there somewhere.
You missed 10 minutes. So thus, in the version we watched, you missed 20 minutes, 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
So there we go.
I think this was right around where I spilled those toothpicks, though. But no, I mean, it was kind of interesting just from a novelty standpoint. Like, let me go back and watch and see what happens again.
So after Bombay realizes what he has, which is little to nothing, we get to another jump cut. They love I guess that's how movies work, but you just rip from one scene to another. So they go from that guy saving them, bailing them out with the Hawks to directly back into practice. So at least the Ducks now have rink time. So they're on an actual rink, and it looks like Gordon is at least taking that interest in the team and reserving the rink. But they're practicing dives and cheating to win. So they're...
I was confused. Why was that considered cheating?
I mean, if you take a dive,
that's
you're just trying to draw
That's like
penalties.
flopping in the NBA. People do that shit all the time.
I mean, it's just, they're
if they call it, it's not cheating.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
Strategy.
But it's before flopping was real big in 90, 91, 92.
Gordon was just doing whatever it took to win.
You can see the competitive juices were starting to.
Yeah, he was an innovator.
Going. Yeah, so he was going any means necessary. But we get to the game. Gordon tells Charlie to act like he's hurt. So, I mean, that won't even really draw a penalty necessarily. Maybe a slashing penalty, but at least stop. Anyway, Charlie will not drop to the ice, act like he's cut. He refuses to cheat, and it's just the real moment of truth, and the turning point comes here. Kids walk out on him. The team said, we're not going to cheat, all this. And Gordon does some real soul-searching. He tracks down Hans at his skate shop, and they have a little heart-to-heart, and Hans gets him some skates. And we get right back to, we get right onto Gordon skating on a pond, and
also,
he's
there's
just getting right back to what he loves,
There's really no backstory with Hans.
No, there's not at all. So that's
he just shows up.
Yeah.
Like all this shit.
Guy.
Like all this shit. Like I had formulated like memories of the movie in my head. Like when I was talking about Charlie's mom and Gordon like getting in the relationship. Like I thought they were like childhood friends. Nope, they just had some strange relationship that formed out of nowhere. And then Hans, like a part of me thought that he was like Gordon's childhood coach. But no, that Lane Riley guy was like. So who the hell is Hans?
Just a real supporter.
Like,
he's even got like news clippings.
Yeah, who the hell is he?
Of like Pee Wee hockey, like results.
Yeah,
in his office.
He's a creep.
Yeah, he kind of. So he is kind of creepy in hindsight. But anyway, Gordon's fine. He gets the skates. He's like, Gordon, go ahead. I got these skates for you. Wrong size. So.
And by the way, why was he just sharpening skates for Gordon randomly at like 2 a.m?
We don't know
He's a
what
creep.
time it was.
And also I like one of my favorite parts of dialogue was when he's sharpening his skates and then Gordon walks in. It's like 2 a.m. It's pitch black. And then Hans goes, Gordon, is that you? And then Gordon's like, how'd you know? And then he's like, you always used to do this. Like what the hell?
Yeah, it's and he's just ready for, like, he was expecting them. Like you said, he is getting these skates sharpened up. He's
super weird.
He pretends to cut himself, so I don't know why he would do that. I guess Hans is a regular prankster too. But he gets the skates, and we just get into a really good montage of Gordon just tearing up the ice, tearing up the pond, and then it's kind of strange because it cuts to Gordon laying. He's not even that bundled up. Like, he's got like a sweatshirt maybe, I think, and jeans, but he's laying in the snow, using the snow as like a bed or a pillow, and he's just breathing super heavy after skating. But like, he's got to be cold. He's got to be. He can't be that warm. But so maybe, I mean, hypothermia is setting in. I don't know. But yeah, we just get Gordon laying in the snow, really heavy breaths. But this is the turning point for him. We have a new Coach Bombay.
I was still in the kitchen picking up toothpicks at this point.
Still in the damn kitchen. So, Ross, did you watch the movie?
You're a regular Rain Man.
Did you? Yeah, I was thinking Rain Man.
That was the first thought that came to my mind. No, I didn't it show like a sequence with Gordon as a kid and his dad? Is that what it was?
Yeah. So that's, I mean, it goes from him like just laying. That's probably, again, the cold just really messing with him as he's starting to.
He's hallucinating. Get him to the ER.
Yeah, he reflects on the good times with his dad. And that's the moment that pushes him over the edge. And he goes to, again, strange. He goes to Charlie's family's apartment, whatever. And
while Charlie's mom is gone.
Wait, was she? She was there, I thought.
Oh, well, there was certainly a part. I don't know what part this was in the movie, but there was certainly a part where he goes to Charlie's apartment and is there hanging out with Charlie while they wait for his mom.
I think that was right before their skate date toward the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is like after like 3 dates.
Right. So anyway, he goes there, tries to apologize to Charlie, asking him to cheat. And I guess Charlie is just really needing a male influence or whatever, because he's fine with Coach Bombay after that. He's like, hey, do you want to stay for dinner? And then Bombay, if that were me, I'd be like, you know what? Thank you. We'll see you at practice on Monday. Bombay's like, what are we having? Like, what are we eating right now? So I guess he's kind of starved for attention, a little companionship too. But Bombay looked pretty good out on the ice, though. Ross, you missed it, I guess, picking up your toothpicks. But he skates pretty well for somebody who hung it up at 9 there, JJ. He was really, really chewing up the pond ice there.
Yeah.
So looking good. So that's a major, major turning point. I'll go ahead and say it right now. We're starting to finally dive into Charlie a little bit here. Is he more famous for Mighty Ducks or Dawson's Creek? Joshua Jackson, not Charlie.
Nobody watches Dawson's Creek.
My sister watched it.
Yeah,
I would say that's what he's more famous for, though.
Is he in anything? I'm trying to think if he's in anything else. He's in the.
He was in a show
in
recently in the last like 5 or 6 years on like TNT or something.
He kind of bothers me. With it. He's kind of like got a weird, like, he's got a voice like me, let's be honest. So that's probably why.
Well, and he played the very first District 5 game in the movie wearing a damn sweatshirt, right? So
I played I played basketball in 3rd grade with a kid who wore jeans to the game, so I guess that just was over the top of me.
There's always that one kid.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just kind of curious. I will say Joshua Jackson is in one of the all-time, one of my all-time favorite lesser-known SNL skits. JJ, you love it too, I know, because I track it down and I send it to you all the time. With go ahead and look up Joshua Jackson SNL. I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight. It's really not a good skit, but Horatio Sands and Will Ferrell do a nice job with it for sure. And it's a good laugh. We like it here. So now I'm trying to catch up on my notes here. So as I scroll through, if you guys have anything else to tap in, please bail me out here.
I've got a lot, but it's basically jumping to the end of the movie.
Okay. The end of the movie is really where you get serious. So let's see here, because yeah, we can kind of speed this up because this has been a little bit more specific than I thought. Gordon goes in. He gets a $15,000.
At this point, like, you've recounted almost every moment of the movie.
Scene for scene, man. We love it. We love this movie. This
like,
is our first shot.
Literally
here.
pulling out the screenplay. In the first moment, this is what Charlie says to such and such. In the second moment, this is what Charlie says to such and such.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Good. You want to do this? So anyway, we've lost everybody we once had. So anyway, they get a $15,000 sponsorship from his current boss, Mr. Ducksworth, and that's where we go into the nice 90s montage of accompanied by Good Vibrations as they're just ripping through
excellent
ripping
track to play there.
through Hans's hockey store, and they are just making a mess of the place. The kids are going nuts. So now they're just coming slowly and surely. They are coming together. I think
By the way, I just realized that Hans and Gordon, that's like a little insider trading thing that they had going on there, because that was Duckworth's money, and Gordon's like, "Hey Hans, you're my boy. I'll hook you up with this shopping spree." And the total, did you see the total after they bought all the gear?
Over $7,000.
Yeah.
That's half the $15K that they just got right there.
And do you think would gear for like a 9-man team, $7,000?
They needed everything, though. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
That's almost $1,000 a person.
I will say their new logo is fucking sweet, though. Like maybe $1,000. I don't know. But the new gear is nice. They finally have an identity. I'm going to try to speed this up for JJ's sake. And they track down the mystery guy from the ice. After he talk about just stroke of luck, he's just cranking pucks in the alley, and hits Gordon's window in the car that he's riding in, and realizes that he's got a slap shot gift, but he just can't skate. So they go ahead and they teach this new guy, Fulton, how to skate through the mall. I don't know why you don't go somewhere else, but they're going through the mall. Teach him how to skate. He's ready. He is ready to join the Ducks, and all of a sudden the team is really starting to get stronger. What did you guys think about? What are your thoughts on Fulton? I thought he was a badass back when I first saw the movie.
He was the obvious, the cool kid in the movie. But as we were talking about this, I realized how much or how far back did the character of Fulton Reed set American youth hockey by telling kids, hey, just go out and start spraying pucks wherever you want. And you know what?
1 out of 5.
Yeah, you can shoot just like Fulton Reed. It's just like Happy Gilmore, running up to the ball to drive it. Like, that's why America can't beat Canada, I'm sure, because all the kids from that era started trying out the Fulton Reed and learning no fundamentals whatsoever. So thanks a lot, Fulton.
Well,
we'll see you in the butterfly effect
in the
follow-up.
The knuckle puck really all sorts. And just before they find Fulton, Bombay's finally buying in and teaching the kids actual hockey skills. Except one of the ways that he teaches Goldberg to be a goal, he just tethers him to the goal, and then they just forget about him. They leave Goldberg tied up to the goal, and the team just probably goes off to get ice cream or pizza, whatever.
Well, it needs some toughening.
It's another one of those classic kids movie moments. Like, it's
right.
like
he forgot him.
Yeah, it's like the trash bag, or like when someone like gets a wedgie and they're hanging on the door, and then he's like, "Let me down from here! Let me down from here!" Yeah. It was one of those moments.
Didn't they do that in Citizen Kane?
Probably. Rosebud. So as the movie, finally, all they needed was some new equipment. They needed Fulton, and they needed a little bit of a pep in their step. Ducks go on a tear, even though they started the season 0-5, 0-9, 0-9.
That was a note. That was a note that I had, was how in the span of this movie they show about 4 games, and somehow they go from collapsing on each other when we first meet them to an amazing hockey team within the span of 4 games.
Right. Bombay's the ultimate motivator. He's a winner. But the worst
He's
part,
a magician.
The thing that bothered me is they don't even really earn a playoff spot. Because
they don't.
Because one of the entire teams has to forfeit the season because they have the measles. So they're just weaseling their way in any means necessary. It's just throw that's like when JJ and I were on a recreational basketball team, and the tournament, the end of the season tournament comes around, and the guy running the league is just like, I didn't think you guys were playing anymore. So I didn't even schedule you in. I didn't even seed you guys. So we didn't even have the worst record in the league. We were probably middle of the pack, but he's like, I didn't think y'all were playing. So we got the last seed in the tournament.
Yeah, because we had to play, because as opposed to actually just rescheduling it properly, he's like, well, the number 1 seed has a bye. You can play the number 1 seed.
So that just reminded me of that, where the Ducks don't really earn their playoff spot, and they're just thrown in there though, and whatever. And then the big change that gets the Ducks over the top is Gordon uses his lawyer chops, and he does some investigating, pretty scummy of him, really. And he snipes Adam Banks from the Hawks team. Their best player just so happens to be in their district, even though I don't think recreational teams really have districts. But yeah, I mean, and that's where after this is where we really hear Cake Eater, probably for the first time ever in our lives, when we watched this movie for the first time. Is that even a good insult at all? Have you ever used it? Is it respectable, or
what's it supposed to even imply, or what's the significance?
That was Jesse, right? Jesse Hall.
Yeah.
There was a scene earlier in the movie where I forget what the exact moment was, but he said to Coach Bombay, these are the notes I have. He said something about, "You're sorry, vanilla behind."
Jesus.
And then Gordon Bombay responds by saying, "Sorry, bro."
Yeah.
And then right afterwards, he's like, "I don't think so, dude."
Oh, right, when he thinks that like he's coming into I got you.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Mighty Ducks really pulls no punches on the race jokes. I guess I hadn't realized that.
They got him in before society and culture really realized that none of them are okay. They're like, yeah, I think it's about to make a turn, so let's really hammer it with this Disney movie. Anyway, as the Ducks are rolling, Bombay gets Adam Banks, and then he upsets the coach of the Hawks, who chases him down. Bombay uses sarcasm, and of course, in saying that the kids, are no good, probably don't even deserve to play hockey. The kids hear him, they take it the wrong way, and all of a sudden they hate their coach. And only kiss-ass Fulton and Charlie show up for the game. So right in the middle of a playoff push, trying to make the playoffs, the Ducks forfeit a game. It would really hurt him if it weren't Hollywood, but Gordon makes up with the team, and everything is good. I mean, I'm trying to speed this up because JJ
which included a line that where Gordon is explaining to them what he said, and he was like, "Yeah, kids, it's called sarcasm. Do you know what that is?"
This is a great line.
And one of the kids responds, "No, I don't." And then Gordon was like, "Oh, okay, I see that you do."
That's the line that earned him the role in Heavyweights, let's be honest.
Yep, absolutely. That's the winner right there that locked it down. So we move on. Gordon, after losing the team, gets them back in their good graces after they quacked at the principal. Okay, whatever.
And conveniently, they all have the same class at the same time.
I was thinking that too. Yeah, they are all in the same class. And at that time too, I believe they had also added a couple other team members to the team, including future Pete and Pete star Danny Tamborelli. I don't know what his name is in this movie.
I totally forgot that he was in this movie. It's Timmy and Tammy.
Timmy and Tammy. And yeah, he went on to be the younger brother in Pete and Pete. Or was he already?
Or Tommy and Tammy? It was
Probably
something
around the
along
same
those
time.
lines.
Yeah.
They both had almost identical names.
Yeah. So
Him and his figure skating. So they were both figure skaters.
Yeah. Everything's all good, though. Gordon gets them. The team's all happy again. Banks is with the Ducks. They don't pass to him at first. They ignore him in the locker room, so really good team chemistry there. But did anybody else realize that Gordon's limo driver all of a sudden is an assistant coach, and he's on the bench now?
Yeah, I thought that was a little strange.
I wasn't sure who that guy was.
Hey,
I was like, why is it?
You mind if I help out?
There's one sequence when he's filming.
Really?
Yes.
That's a little strange.
Yes.
That's a little. I didn't notice that. I noticed he was on the bench, and that didn't really. So you drove for Grand Funk Railroad. You're hired. You were. you must know hockey. So
Set to a montage of "We're an American Band" by none other than Grand Funk Railroad.
I wish it wasn't. Was it?
Let's
No.
be honest. Let's be honest. That was Gordon's muse. He needed someone to turn to that he knew he could trust.
They were still slamming beers. Gordon is still slamming beers. There's no doubt about it. So anyway, the limo driver's a coach. Ducks are in a close game. They have to win to get to the playoffs. And fortunately, they call in Fulton. There's no time left. I think they had to tie. Maybe they tied.
Yeah, they tied.
They tied it. But, of course, Fulton shoots it from the other blue line, the opposite end of the ice, still enough to get every kid to dive out of the way, and the puck rips through the back of the net. So this kid would not be playing on the Mighty Ducks. He would be in the NHL already.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, that is insane.
He'd been drafted first by, I don't know who the bad team
Everybody.
that was that year. But
In 92, I wish I knew. I can't.
the Islanders, I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe. So anyway, we get him. I mean, Gordon takes him to celebrity cameo, takes him to a hockey game. We get a nice Mike Modano cameo, and a good old skating montage.
Oh, yeah.
Good old skating with
And not
with some
only-
nice
not only
bluesy
that, but-
music.
But when he meets Modano's like, "Yeah, hey kids, this is Gordon Bombay. This guy used to be a Pee Wee legend." And then he's like, "You ever want? I haven't seen you in 30 years, but you want a shot in the minors? I gotcha.
He hasn't played since he was 9. He's chatting. You guys know who this is? Of course we know who this is. He's been our coach for 4 weeks. Like, we know who this. Like, we're trying to talk to you, Mike. But yeah, you're spot on, JJ. Where he's just like, yeah, you were pretty good as a kid. Like, I'll get you in it. Can you imagine how humiliated Madonna would have been and how much his credibility would have been shot when realistically Bombay gets out there and he's just slow as hell, can't skate anymore.
Yeah.
God. Like, Emilio!
I really appreciated the Madonna cameo, but also the Minnesota North Stars throwback, because they would soon relocate to Dallas, and Minnesota would have to wait, I don't know how many years, until '02 to get the Wild. So kind of a nice throwback to some hockey history there.
They will always be in the North Stars and the Mighty Ducks. So
Right. It's great.
I think we cut to the scene that JJ was kind of talking about with Bombay dropping off Charlie at his house, and like they started wrestling, and his mom is like watching from the.
That's another ridiculous one.
His mom is watching from her apartment window, looking on fondly, like smiling that her young 10-year-old son is wrestling with his hockey coach. So,
That has been coaching him for 3 weeks.
yeah,
And this
they
is the
are-
guy that she's met 3 times.
They're hitting it off. They are hitting it off.
And she's cool with them playing around on the ground wrestling.
Yeah, and because of this, though, they finally go on a date, and she's kind of, like, Bombay even tries to like speed up the process and like try to weasel his way into their fan. Like, she talks some nonsense about like, yeah, we look at this apartment and pretend like that's my window and Charlie's. That was dumb. Like, that was straight up dumb. He's like, we pretend that we live there. But then instead of like, if that were me, I would have been like, all right, whatever. But Bombay's like, which window's mine? And she's like, whoa. Like, slow, but Bombay being the smooth talker he is, he ends up going in for the kiss. So
No, but that was one of the most cringeworthy scenes of the whole movie, because not only was he like, which one's mine? And then she was like, whoa. And then she got super serious and was like, what are you talking about?
Charlie needs a good role model.
Yeah, and then Gordon.
Not
Then
someone
Gordon
who drinks and drives.
Then Gordon's response, he was like, "Whoa!" He didn't. I don't think he said "baby," but he's like, "Whoa! I'm just messing around." And then
You can't take life so lightly.
yeah, and then he's like, "Come here," and then
baby.
Then that's when they just kiss. Even though she was just
Right.
creeped out.
It was
and
pretty forced. We've known each other for a month, but I'm ready to move in with you.
yeah.
You know what? I think we should both look at life insurance policies together. So anyway, so it's going on. We get to another montage of the Ducks ripping through the playoffs.
I'm just thinking about this movie is so absurd.
Everybody needs
So
to go
much-
back and watch it. Like, it's great. Like, the rewatch is great. So somehow, though, Bombay, the ultimate coach, the ultimate influencer, the Ducks go from 0-9 to the state finals. They made the state finals. They're playing the Hawks, the team that beat them 17-0. And Ross, you talked about the papers earlier, the paper pop-ups when the Ducks win. The best paper is here when they get a good face-off looking side-by-side half-face of Riley and Bombay, and it's just like Ducks Hawks final. Like, it just goes right back to another paper, and it's just a really, really good look. And it just goes right back, like you said, JJ, into the moment that haunts Bombay's life. We go right back into the memory of a 9-year-old. Get this guy some therapy. You got to be kidding me. Get this, like, you know what, doctor? I can't get over what I did when I was 9 years old. Like, get this guy some help, because he can't stop thinking about it.
He became a successful lawyer, and he's still dwelling on his Pee Wee hockey championship game.
That's Bombay. Hey, it
That's a
hangs
sad
heavy
life.
with you. Hangs heavy with you. So, so we get to the finals. It's a packed house. It is absolutely rabid in there, and so.
Oh, hold up. We missed.
What's up? Because I was trying to speed it up, because I was hitting every scene. So
No,
what
but-
did we miss?
Well, I'm not sure if this has happened yet, but I know that this was one of my this is one of my favorite moments. Okay. So prior to the championship, Gordon goes into the law firm. Do you want to take him through this sequence?
Take it away.
So he goes into the law firm, and we see Banks's dad, as well as one of their mutual friends, and
the coach.
Yeah, the coach. So it's Banks's dad, the coach, and Charlie's boss, the head of the law firm, or Gordon's boss, I should say. And he goes in there, and his boss is like, Gordon's like, how do you know this guy? As in Banks's dad. And Gordon's boss is like, oh, he's an old friend of mine. And then convenient. And then Gordon's
way to bridge that plot hole.
Yeah.
Did I mention he's an old friend? Yeah, we should have covered that.
Yeah, and Gordon's like, all right, what's this all about? And his boss is like, we're going to make this whole thing with Banks go away. Is it Adam Banks?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, we're going to make this whole thing with Adam Banks go away. And then Gordon's like, basically, all this happens, he's like, no, we're playing by the rules. And ultimately, his boss fires him.
Yeah, I was going to say, did he quit or did he get fired?
His boss fires him
over Pee Wee hockey.
Yeah, for taking a player rightfully. He had every right, according to the bylaws, to have the kid on his team, and his boss decides to fire him from a probably highly successful law firm. And the most ironic part of this entire thing is that the team was named after the boss.
Yeah.
And after and after Gordon is fired, they go to the championship game, Ducks. And now, like you were saying with the rabid crowd, everybody is wearing
they're quacking.
They're
going
all
nuts.
wearing Ducks gear. And I'm like, was all this gear printed after Gordon was fired from the law firm of Ducksworth?
Crazy Duck merchandise. It was a Duck-heavy crowd, too.
Yeah.
Where are the Hawks' parents? They probably would have something to say, too. But, yeah, you bring up a really good point that willing to lose his job over his community service assignment is kind of strange.
Yeah.
But I will say I saw this movie in theaters, and I also, when I had it on VHS, this was my favorite scene. I would sometimes just fast forward to the title game scene. I don't know why. I just loved it. Loved the drama. Good cinema, And the Hawks get up huge early with ease, and the Ducks kind of try to make a comeback, even though, and eventually Hawks play dirty. They take out one of their former players, Banks.
Hold on. You have to explain this whole scene. Because this is the most ridiculous scene of the movie. This may be the most ridiculous scene of the movie.
When he intently tries to hurt the kid?
When he says to the two players on his team, Riley or whatever the coach's name is, says to the two kids on his team, and at this point they're up 4-1.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely no need for this, and he's like, "See Banks, take him out," and then Adam Banks gets the ball. He's going for a breakaway, and then he hits it into the goal, and the guy pounds him, and he is knocked unconscious. He's basically
should have been paralyzed.
Yeah, he's lifeless on the ground, and the other guy comes up and goes, "What did you do?" And the guy looks at him and goes, "My job."
Ooh,
and then he skates over to the coach, and as Adam Banks is being carted away in a stretcher. He's being carted away in a stretcher. Coach Riley looks at the player that took him out and goes, "Yes," and gave him a fist pump.
Don't him and Bombay look at Riley and Bombay look at each other and just very stern.
Yeah.
That's why it's the tension is high.
But the fist pump after Adam Banks is taken away on a stretcher is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen.
True. It's true. Ross, the Ducks make a comeback, and then and I will say, as they're making their comeback, I will remember I said I saw this movie in theaters. I do recall my younger sister in theaters booing, thumbs down over her theater seat, the Hawks at that. Like, so that's
It was
something
real. It
that
was
I will
real
always-
to kids.
It's
That's
still
big
real
deal.
to me.
That's some real shit right there.
Yeah, yeah. So Ross, the Ducks make a nice comeback. Did we see a flying V? Did we see
We
one?
did. And it's interesting because as they were doing it, watching it now as a 28-year-old who actually knows more about hockey than I did when I was a 6-year-old when I first saw it, whenever, I was like, please go offsides. Please go offsides. Please go offside. I wanted the lead skater to be offside during the V so I could call it out,
You
punch
wanted
my
a
TV.
plot hole.
Exactly. But no, skillfully they passed the puck to the front player, so we're all good. Just
Good.
wanted to make that clear.
Well, they make the comeback and one of the goals via the flying V, and then Ross, it comes full circle. Charlie going for the breakaway. Kind of take us through that scene and kind of what happens here.
Probably, I'm not the best candidate for this. I
You
fast
didn't
forwarded
watch
through this part.
No, let me explain the best
That's
part
the
of this.
ultimate height of the movie, and you fast forwarded through it. That's
We had to start this podcast. It was like 8 o'clock. I had to get
That's-
going.
That's like fast. Hold on. That's like fast forwarding through all major plot points in every movie. Like, this is where the Titanic hits the iceberg. Let me just rip through this here real
Well,
quick.
I guess I knew the Ducks were going to win, and I saw on the little image previews that it was Charlie taking the shot. It's like, okay, it's.
I looked at the back of the movie box. Like, I know. JJ,
So I
maybe-
could. I
JJ,
can't give
maybe
you the
you-
play-by-play,
maybe
but I can tell you
bail
what.
us out. Maybe you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's going for a breakaway, and he gets hammered, and they call a penalty. So they're like, "Okay, someone needs to take a penalty shot." And this is another absolute ridiculous moment in the movie. Ridiculous moment after ridiculous moment, because they cut to the bench, and at this point, Fulton, that's his name, the big guy.
Right.
Fulton is out. He's flipped over some guy on the other team, and Adam Banks is out. So their two best goal scorers are gone. So you have the rest of the team, and at this point, like, common sense is that Charlie Conway is the third best player. But for some reason, when they cut to the bench, they're like, who's going to shoot the penalty shot? And everybody's like, well, should such and such shoot it? Should Averman shoot it? Should blah, blah, should Goldberg shoot it? Like, they're going through, and then coaches...
Charlie was the one that got tripped, though. It should have been him. There should have been no question.
Yeah, and then Gordon looks and goes, guys, what about Charlie?
Oh, Charlie, yeah.
And everybody's like, he could maybe make it.
Yeah, he's the guy on our team, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then-
I forgot about him.
And then it cuts then it cuts to Bombay and Charlie, like just the two of them talking, and Coach Bombay's like, Charlie, I know you've been practicing that triple deke. It's time
Coach,
to
I actually haven't.
it's time to bust out that triple deke.
Smash cut to Gordon Bombay is the one taking the shot because he wants vengeance.
Thank God. I was thinking the wheels are turning when he's just like,
Yep.
who wants to take it? Bombay slides into the background. All of us. God, that would make the movie so much better if all of a sudden a clearly middle-aged Emilio Estevez is out on the ice with a helmet and a jersey too small for himself.
Someone needs to reshoot that scene right now with Emilio Estevez today.
They should. Like, they did a really good job with the 30 for 30 mock-up on Mighty Ducks, but that would be unreal if Bombay's just like, you know what? I'll take the shot. I'll do it. And then, yeah, he's out there in just junior high kid, elementary school kid gear.
No, the best would be like, hey, Charlie, come with me to the locker room real quick. He changes and he puts on Charlie's uniform and comes back out and skates onto the ice like Willis Reed after he was injured and comes back in the Knicks playoff game. And everybody's like, oh shit, it's Charlie.
Oh wait, it's Bombay. It's Bombay. Get him out of here, man.
But he's got the mask on. He's got the mask on, so you can't see his face. And after he makes the goal, he skates off the ice super quick back into the locker room.
That would be so much better. So Charlie makes the triple deke. The Ducks win the state finals, whatever. It goes into a nice like fade from the celebration into Bombay hopping on a bus, saying that he's going to try out. Took up Madonna on his offer to get a minor league tryout. He's saying how crazy he is and talking to Charlie. The whole team's there. And then Charlie's mom is just like, just go have some fun. And leaves him with a big kiss. Everybody with the classic 90s, like, woo, like going with that. The kids are egging him on. And then Bombay steps on the bus. But this is good. This is Hollywood right here. And this is smart marketing. They thought they had something here. Let's leave a cliffhanger for the sequel. Bombay pops his head back out of the bus, maybe the window, the door. He said, hey, Ducks, we'll see you next year. We got a title to defend. And then the movie just fades away. I guess in the UK version, it went to We Will Rock You. The US version went to The Outfield, Winning It All, which is a great song. But movie over, end of scene. JJ, Ross, I'm going to start with you because we know JJ's thoughts on it, or he's kind of teased it. How does the movie hold up today?
Not as well watching it again because two thoughts. One, we're led to believe that this team, who started out as a ragtag bunch of cake eaters on the city ice pond, couldn't even score a goal. Oh, guess what? 2 years from now, they're going to be playing Iceland in the World Championships. Sorry, don't want to get too far ahead there. I won't tell you who
Turn
wins.
around.
If we're supposed to believe that's the same team, I know they had some different players on the second installment. Give me a break. Number one. Number two, hasn't been mentioned in this entire review. Averman is the worst, most goddamn, god-awful character in this movie. I just want to
Completely
put out
agree.
there. He ruined it for me on the rewatch. It
Why?
doesn't hold up.
He's a comedic
Completely
relief.
agree.
He's
He
comedic relief.
just is the worst because all he does is quote Rob Schneider. But to answer your question, it holds up as the novelty kind of corny aspect. I appreciate how corny it is. So there's that.
I think 7-year-old me loved Averman too. Like I think.
Oh, all kids
Same.
did. Yeah.
That was another one of my memories that was ruined after rewatching this. I thought Averman was hilarious when I was a kid, and now rewatching this, I'm like, he was the douchiest character in the movie by far. It wasn't
Belted
even close.
Hammer. Yeah, he was. You know what? If I were watching this movie for the first time, JJ, what would you give it out of 10? First time viewing, like as of today, where does it stand for you? And Ross, I want you to follow up right after.
If I watched it today, my age, and just went and watched it,
Try to keep nostalgia out of it.
it would be somewhere between a 4 and a 5 out of 10.
Not bad.
The
I'd say-
first 20 minutes is some of the worst cinema I've seen in a long, long time.
But had they gone down that road for the whole movie, not necessarily like the whole storyline though, like it could have been a better. You were saying how it could have been a better movie if they really attacked on that darker side of it though too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in terms of Emilio Estevez's acting, like in the first 30 minutes, I didn't realize
phoned it in.
how bad of an actor he was.
Right. Ross,
He was
out of 10?
horrible.
So you're saying watching it today for the very first time as a 28-year-old?
Yeah, how do you think it just holds up today? Yeah, even if you were to show it to
Yikes.
somebody today.
I'd
I
say
think
like a 3 or a 4.
3 or 4. Okay, so 4 is kind of common for you. I'd say right there between a 5, 5 or a 6 maybe. Maybe that's the nostalgia getting in because it's not a great movie by any means. It really doesn't even have that much good comedy for adults. Like some movies have good jokes. It's pretty 90s kid cheesy crap.
The only thing that held it up for me tonight was the Mike Modano cameo. And that's about it.
And by the way, on the IMDb, Mike Modano, he's cast as North Stars player 2. It's not even as himself. So that's kind of interesting.
Well, he had 7 years before he won the cup. I guess
Yeah.
He's got to earn that movie credit.
Nuts. It's just nuts. So not a great. We still think of it fondly back in the day. It not as great today though. A lot of these kids though, we saw them through the 90s. a lot of them went on. A couple of them, Goldberg and the other one, I can't remember his name, Karp, went on to star in Heavyweights, pretty key roles. Yeah, the one kid who had the leather jacket, the little short one with the leather jacket, I think his name was Peter. He was in an episode of Full House. I remember that. So a lot of them went on to kind of continue to. But yeah, I would say before you said something about Terry today, JJ, I would say that Joshua Jackson had like the best career post Mighty Ducks of all these kids, but probably not now as we go on. Like, because Empire is a pretty popular, and he's still working today. I don't know what Joshua Jackson does today. So
yeah, no, that Jesse Smollett dude has been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
like, I think he's a singer too.
Yeah, everybody thinks
like,
they're a singer.
He's a pretty like well known. Yeah, it says Jesse Smollett is an American actor, singer, and photographer. He began his career as a child actor in 1987, starring in commercials and films, including The Mighty Ducks.
What a launching pad.
Yeah.
Absolute launching pad.
Well, I know we're not talking D2 here, but when you're looking at the first movie, it's kind of hard to pick out who is like had the most successful career. But if you're comparing all the Mighty Ducks together, it's Kenan Thompson by far. I mean, he puts all the other kids to shame. But that's for D2. We'll save that for another time.
Right. So, and JJ, you had pulled it up. Ross, you can if you want. Anybody listening back, if you got a minute. As I was clicking through to see where these kids went on, Aaron Schwartz, who went on to play Jerry Garner, and JJ or Ross, if you have the Mighty Ducks cast list up, you can pull up his IMDb page. Major transformation.
Who?
Aaron Schwartz, the guy who played Jerry. He played Carp in this movie, and he played Jerry in Heavyweights.
I actually looked him up yesterday in preparation for this movie.
He does not look the same at all. At all.
No.
It's crazy.
Wait, who's he playing this movie?
Carp, the kid who takes the puck off the helmet and he's probably concussed, and he plays Jerry in Heavyweights.
Like lead role in Heavyweights.
Oh wow.
He good for him because he turned a corner and does not look like a heavyweight actor, whereas Goldberg I think got into some hot water within the last couple of years with like crystal meth or something. So.
He looks like that's why Goldberg from his IMDb picture looks like he's on meth.
He was in. It was not that long ago where he was in a tough spot. He was in Shawn Weiss Goldberg. Once the most famous Goldberg.
D2 money ran out.
So anyway, a couple quick tidbits about it that I saw. Jake Gyllenhaal and Leonardo DiCaprio both auditioned for Charlie, but I guess it says Gyllenhaal's parents didn't want him to do it. DiCaprio got beat out. Could have been his Oscar years before he actually got one.
It's probably best that neither of them got the role.
Yeah, I was gonna say how would
their careers would have been lost forever.
How would the world have been different? So we'll just keep Leonardo DiCaprio on Growing Pains. And then others considered for Bombay were Estevez's brother Charlie Sheen, Tom Hanks, and I don't know how seriously considered, Tom Hanks, Michael J. Fox, and even Bill Murray. They thought Murray was too old, but
I feel like Michael J. Fox would have been better.
He kind of fit in the most, and really they say like these guys were considered like. I feel like that's a list of guys considered for every movie in the 90s. Like, well, if we could get Tom Cruise or Michael J. Fox or Tom Hanks, I mean, I feel like they're on the list of every major role of like they were also considered for the role of Peter Pan and Hook and stuff like that. But anyway,
listen, Tom Hanks, need you to choose between Philadelphia, potential Oscar winner, and this lovable Disney kids flick, Mighty Ducks. What do you say?
We've got Forrest Gump or D2.
I mean, Emilio Estevez has really basically not done shit since this movie.
Well, no, he was really on the downside of his career at this point,
which is crazy to think about. But
which is obvious based on his performance. Good lord,
he's phoning it in. Hey, can I get my check up front? Anyway, hey, I appreciate you guys not only watching the movie but also kind of chatting with me about it. I may hand over the reins to JJ or Ross, or if we do another one in the future, we'll try to tighten it up a little bit, or maybe even try to get some video along with it. But so we ran a little bit longer than expected, but a movie like this that just has so many nuances and small things that you don't notice, and things that bother you that just have to be said. I think we did the movie justice. So, any closing thoughts from either of you?
Closing thoughts.
Sounds like
I think
no.
I think I covered it with the whole. This is the team playing Iceland and Averman being terrible. That's honestly what I came away with. But it was a good watch though. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Averman did audition for the Fulton Reed role because he was one of the bigger kids. Thank God he didn't get that.
Yeah.
He would have talked less. It would have been nice.
Maybe, yeah, probably. JJ, anything else to send us out?
Oh man, I'm gonna be. I feel like this is a movie I'm gonna be thinking about for a while.
Don't save yourself some time.
It's one of those like those movies where there's like one or two things that you're like, okay, I can kind of suspend disbelief or whatever. I feel like this movie, there just kept being like, I didn't realize how many absurd things there were in this movie that really just started distracting me. Like as a kid, you're dumb enough to just watch the movie and be like, oh, this is funny. Oh, this is fun. Like, so you don't really care. But like going back and watching it, this movie bothered me.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sorry to do that.
I can now relate with all the parents that had to sit through this movie in theaters at the time, because they're probably just thinking the whole time, this is what Emilio Estevez is up to now? This is terrible. This is like, there's nothing in this movie for me as a parent. This is terrible. I hope they don't make two more.
I was going to say that the parents were probably just waiting, just like, throw me something. Like, I had to bring my kids here. Throw me something that I can enjoy.
Right.
They really didn't. So tough break, parents. Sorry about that. Sorry, Mom and Dad, for making you watch this with me, making you take me to the movie.
What's even more shocking to me about this is it's a Disney movie. And like, I'm even like looking at the cinematography and it was bothering me. Like,
make it funnier.
Yeah, and like, not only was the cinematography not very good in my opinion, the soundtrack, like the music. Okay, you have the classic Mighty Ducks like song. You know what I'm talking about?
Right. You got good vibrations. You got the outfield. What else do you want?
But okay, so you have the classic Mighty Ducks song that they play like when they're about to win or they take the lead. And it's that like inspiring music, and that was the only Mighty Ducks like soundtrack music that I had stuck in my head was that like redemptive, really good. Like it was like that's a solid piece of soundtrack music, but the whole rest of the movie, I'm like, this is horrible. Like it was so bad. Like I don't know why my kid brain somehow only managed to pick up the most amazing parts of this movie.
That's exactly what I wanted to have happen with any of these reviews that we do. I want to remember just how terrible childhood was, so maybe how brainwashed we were, so maybe we can make our now present day lives seem not so bad. Anyway, hey guys, I appreciate you again. Late night talk about it is certainly a late night here. We talked about Mighty Ducks for over an hour and a half. Hopefully, everybody else is still listening on and now can. Even if you didn't watch Mighty Ducks, you go want to take a look at it, and maybe you notice something that we didn't notice throughout the whole thing. But JJ, thanks for dialing in. Ross, you the same. And we will catch you. We went to the movies this week. I'm sure we'll go to the movies again sometime down the line. But stay tuned because we are back, baby. And we will catch you next time on I Just Kind of Figured.